Hey friends, welcome back to the Homestead. If you watched my last video, you know that our AC unit went out on the house. Today I'm going to go ahead and replace the actual fan motor and see if we can get that running, get the compressor running again, and hopefully get the house cooled off just a little bit. I went and picked up a new fan motor for it yesterday. Hopefully it's all the right pieces and we could just swap it out part for part, piece for piece, wire for wire, and get everything back up and running like it's supposed to be. So yeah. Let's dig into this. Alright, so this is the fan motor that we had brought in. It was all under warranty and everything, so it won't cost too much to get it swapped out. Looks about the right size. 3 wires. Yeah. Like the right unit. Now the very first thing that we need to do before we do anything else is disconnect power to the unit. There's a lot of electricity flowing through here and we don't want to accidentally touch something that has power and we thought it didn't. This unit has 2 disconnect switches. One's for the blower motor that's blowing the air inside the house, and then the other is for the condenser and the fan motor out here. So we'll go ahead and disconnect both of these right here. We'll just set that disconnect switch right up there on top of the unit. That way we remember and we know that its power is disconnected. So now that we've got the power all off, so we'll just give it a second and let it power everything down. Sometimes the capacitors can hold a little bit of a charge, and so it's always best to leave it off for about 10-15 seconds before you actually touch anything. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off the shroud. Sure to put your bolts somewhere safe, otherwise you'll lose them and then you won't know where they're at. You'll be searching everywhere, having to get the metal detector out, scouring the ground for them. It'll be a pain in the butt. Right now the shroud should be disconnected from the air conditioner housing itself, so we should be able to just lift it straight up. And we may have one more bolt we need to take off, maybe not. I'll just set that upside down right there because we've got to get some wiring issues taken care of. So the wiring is going through this protective little rubber hose here, and then it's going inside, up and under there, and I believe there's another panel on that side. We can take that off and see if that's where it's coming out of. Looks like we identified where our wires are going. So if I pull, give a little tug on these 3 wires that are connected to the fan, pulls on this little bundle right here. So we'll go ahead and snip that wire tie off, identify which wires are going where, and then we'll be able to make that reconnection right there, tie it all back together nice and neat, keep it nice and neat. Alright, so now that we've got all the wiring disconnected and removed from the system, we'll go ahead and take the fan off of the motor itself and take the motor off of the shroud. just going to take off the set screw or loosen that up just a bit. The fan should just slide right up off of there. We'll want to make sure that we're setting this back on in the right orientation instead of upside down. Now we're going to take these 4 bolts off here and remove the fan from the shroud itself. Oh, first try. That should come right off. So this is the old motor. We'll need to put that back in the box so that we can bring that back down to the supplier. That way we get our credit for the warranty part for it. No sense in throwing money away. Now it's just a matter of popping this new motor back on in its place, putting the fan back on it, and then rerouting those wires, plugging those in. Hopefully it should be quick and easy. Now these nuts do not have to be super tight, just tight enough to hold it in place. All right. Now we're going to just run these wires back through this little tube here. If you put them in one at a time, then they'll not all bunch up. The interesting part will be getting these wires back in through that tiny little hole. I got a secret weapon. So what I've got here is just a short piece of 12-2 electrical wire that I've bent a small hook in the end of. What I'll do is I'll push this backwards through that hole where the wires are going to. I'll just hook one wire at a time, pull it through, and then hopefully that'll be enough room to allow all these fat little clips to pull through that same small hole. So now that we've got this pulled through, what we'll do is we'll just grab one of these wires, hook it on here, and gently pull it back through this hole. And we'll do that 2 more times. Our orange wire, our black wire, and our purple wire, they're just going to reconnect back to the same wires that they disconnected from. Purple goes to purple. Orange to orange. And black to black. Just tie all that up with a nice little tie wrap, nice and neat. Alright, so now that we've got all the wiring run back through there and connected to stink. Oops. So we didn't run all the wiring back through where it was supposed to go through. this little guy is supposed to hold this up and out of the way so it doesn't get dinged by the fan. And we did not run our wiring through there. So what I'll do is I'll just cut a little notch out of that, slide the wires through, and then it's going to slide up over the top of this, and that'll hold it nice and tight. Now we should be able to just slide this right over these wires and pinch it back together. Okay, now that the hard part is done, we'll put the fan blades back on, the same orientation they came off. Just tighten the set screw down. The set screw, there should be a little flat spot on the axle for the motor. And that set screw just sits right on top of that. You want to tighten this down really good and tight because you do not want this fan coming off at full RPMs. Whee! Okay. Turn this back over. Slide it down into place. We've got our little shroud screws. Now it's probably a good idea to just give it a little spin, make sure that there's no clicking sounds or that it's bumping into anything that you wouldn't want to find out once you turn the unit on. And just make sure that it spins freely. Yeah, it looks like everything's in good shape there. Now I'll just go over here and give a little tug on our wires to pull them all the way through here. Now before we go ahead and close everything back up, I'm going to turn the system on just to make sure that everything kicks on like it's supposed to, that the fan's flowing the right direction, that we're getting good warm air coming out the top of this, and that we're getting good cold air blowing inside. Alright. Now this system does have a 5-minute startup delay for the compressor, but the blower motor just kicked on, so I'm going to go ahead and close up the blower motor door. Well guys, there you have it. We just replaced the fan motor for the condenser in our unit. Seems to be working well. We'll let this run for a few cycles just to make sure that everything is all hunky-dory. But yeah, that wasn't too difficult, wasn't too terrible, and we saved ourselves a couple $100 getting that replaced. So I hope you guys found this video informative or enjoyable, entertaining in any way. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more of what we've got going on here on the Homestead, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the little bell so that you can be reminded when we do upload. I try to upload as often as I can, usually 2 or 3 times a week. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay cool out there, and we'll see you guys on the next video.